Yeah, back at it again. Theology in the Streets podcast. This is Extended Thought, where no topic goes untouched. And I got to my right.
Oh, you got all the way to the
right. All the way
right. It's your boy Don Dada.
Yes, sir.
Back one more again. How y'all feel out there?
I got right next to me.
You got your boy Kurt Classic.
And I'm your boy Pastor Lou, a.k.a. Late to the Game. And listen, we got a special guest with us, filling in for Gemma Juggernaut. We have David in the Cut Jones. Say what's up, brother.
What's going on, fellas? How we doing?
Hey, listen, man. Yeah. Yo, he got that perfect deep voice for
that Barry
audio.
White,
Here we go.
My levels is,
Here we
go.
go.
The levels. Hey, check it. So we're going to continue our discussion from our last episode. Our last episode was music and inside perspective. This is going to be music and industry perspective. Because brother Dave Jones, in the Cut Dave Jones, he actually has a lot of experience working in the music industry. And so we're going to probe him and work on him and see what we can get, some juicy nuggets, and go from there. So Dave, to just get us going, share a little bit about how you got into working with music artists, musicians in the industry.
Well, I was fortunate enough to get an internship at Dejalon Studios, a local studio that doesn't exist here anymore. I had a brother named Phil Thorne who brought me in, and I had signed up to do some sessions there, and we had a lot in common, when I went down there. And he said, "Listen, man, you spend a lot of money down here. I could probably get you an internship," and that's what ended up happening. I ended up getting an internship there. It wasn't easy though, man, because it was like they just started building the studio. So my first day I showed up, man, they had me pushing a wheelbarrow of sand in and out of the building. They had a sand truck. You had to, and they would dump sand into the wheelbarrow. You had to wheel it in there over plywood and stuff.
All the dirty work.
All the dirty work.
No doubt. No doubt. So the entire first floor. It had all sand in the underneath the subfloor because so the sound wouldn't leak down to the studios downstairs. So I spent a lot of time doing that, man, taking out garbage, all kinds of stuff. But I got free studio time from doing it. So started just doing that. Dejalon had like a little a local production company and stuff. There were a lot of local artists, musicians, producers and stuff that were involved with that. I wasn't so ingrained in that part of it because they already had kind of like a core crew that was doing it. So I was more like bringing my own group down there and working on projects and stuff that I had going on. But I didn't really get involved with working with industry people until they big artists were coming to town to record their projects there and stuff. Everybody thought it was just when the whole Jodeci craze came through, but people have no idea, man, how many other bigger name artists came through there. You know what I'm saying? Yes. It was like there were some huge names that came through.
That's why I was upset when it closed down. They should have left it at least like a historic, I would say. You know what I mean?
Well, the whole thing with that, man, was that it was just like, shout out to my man Dave Shoemaker Jr., man, because Dave made the dream work. He was the one that approved me being able to do an internship and stuff there. But unfortunately, like for Dave, he got starstruck, man, as far as like with Jodeci coming in there and stuff. They had full run of the studio, man, and the dudes tore that studio up. There was so much debt. You know what I'm saying? It was like it was just they never were able to recover from that. And so what happened was, because Jodeci had the studio on lock for 24/7, they put their other paying clients out, like the car dealerships that did their commercials there and stuff like that. They kind of kicked them to the curb and was like, "We got this long-term money coming in. You guys are gonna have to find somewhere else to do your business," And that was just, I mean, I can't fault him for that because he saw the money opportunity, man, and he took it. You know what I'm saying? So I can't fault him for that, but that's basically how I ended up, being exposed to all of the wisdom and the knowledge from these heads that worked in the industry, old school cats and, some present cats too. But I was there for the knowledge, man. You know, at first, you know, you become a little starstruck, but then you start to see how people move. You start to see what they're really about, and then you say, you know what, I'm gonna get out of this person what I can get out of them, and then let all of that, you know, that fame and that glory stuff slide. You know.
Shout outs to your boy Phil. He made us a beat too. He was one of the first producers I worked with too.
Yeah.
When I came in, I was like 11.
Listen, man, Phil Thorne taught me everything that I know about making beats. Everything. And, you know, so I'm forever indebted to Phil because, you know, he didn't have to. He had other cats under his wing, man, and he was giving them nuggets, and he was doing the same thing for them. You know what I'm saying? But for whatever reason, Phil took a liking to me, man, and he taught me everything. You know, and cool I'm indebted for Phil, not just because of the music. You know, the music knowledge that he gave me, but because of the man he was, and still is.
Well, even with me too, even though the little bit time that I spent with him, he was the first one to show me studio ethics, like mic control.
Right.
You know what I mean? My ad-libs, laying down tracks. You know, doubling up tracks. You know, my first producer I worked with. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
doubling tracks, bouncing them, man.
Bouncing, exactly. Yeah.
First time I ever saw him bounce a track, man, I thought that was like the greatest thing. It was like,
when you say bounce a track, what does that mean?
So basically, like if you recorded a track and it's on one track, you use 1/4-inch cables to reroute them and move a track from one track to another. It sounds like it's the most basic thing, man. But when you're young and you're young in music and stuff, and you don't really. You've never seen anything like that. It was just like the most. He's like, I really need. You know, I should have recorded this track on this track so everything could be close together. And I put it down here by mistake. I'm just gonna bounce it over. So all he did is just, you know, take a cable and go from an out to an in and move the track over, freed up the other track. It was just something very basic, man. But like again, like when you're young.
Listen, and if we're going back now, let's go back to when I went to Dejalon. That's when they was using DAT.
Right.
Okay, that's a DAT era.
No doubt.
But I recorded prior to DAT.
Right, 2-inch.
Okay, I'm talking about reel to reel.
Right, 2-inch tape.
Okay, now it looked like a movie projector. Okay, and you had a splice.
Right.
Bro, let me tell you something, bro. See, these kids don't hold up, man. Let me go on my little rampant here because listen. When you recorded back then, you couldn't mess up. Nah. See, it wasn't like now computer and digital. You just do the vocals and they take this out and they put this in and you know you got Pro Tools that's doing this and all that, bro. I recorded on reel to reel, bro.
No doubt.
And when you did one take, it was one take, bro. And you know, and if you wanted to edit that, bro, you know how much work it took. They had to splice the film and oh my, it was one takers. You had to drop it, bro. It had to be one take, bro. And when you
and then when you wanted to like so. Before you even did anything, the most boring part about working with 2-inch tape is that you go in the studio and you like hype, like yeah man, we're gonna start recording. But the first thing they do is they have to lay down what was called a SMPTE track, and a SMPTE track sound like a fax machine noise. And what they have to do is they use up a whole track of just SMPTE code. And what the SMPTE code did is it locked your machinery into the recorder, so it created that sync, that lock. So you had a code coming from, like with me, I had an MPC, you know, and so you know it had like you had to take the SMPTE code from the MPC and play it so that it would lock to the 2-inch machine and a 2-inch recorder, and then when they would lock, it would make your vocals and the music lock up every time they hit stop and rewind.
That's crazy.
It wasn't, bro. These kids don't know what
idea,
work. They don't know what it is put in work musically. Yeah, bro, they got it so good, bro. They got it so good.
Yo, how is it that technology has gotten better, but some of these artists have gotten whacked, bro?
That's why. It don't take that much work.
You want to know why? You want to know why?
Trash, bro.
It's because their audience doesn't demand more from them. That's why.
That's big. That's big.
Good point. Yeah.
It's like I'll there was a scene in the movie Malcolm X with Denzel Washington where he was talking with Elijah Muhammad, and they were pouring the water, and my man said he poured the water and he put ink in it, and he said if they'll drink this if they're thirsty, but if you give them this, and he's had a clean glass of water, he said if you give them this and let them make up their own minds, and then you'll have them. You see what I'm saying? And it's the same thing with music. It's like if your audience isn't demanding more from you, purity, clarity, you're gonna give them whatever they want, and they're just gonna take it. They're gonna consume it.
They're singing all over everything, bro. Yeah. They ain't rapping no more. Everybody's singing now.
Yeah.
Singing R&B, bro.
That's your boy Ja Rule brought that into the game.
And then everybody knocked Ja Rule for doing it.
Right, he was
50
ahead of the game.
Cent came and drilled on him for doing it. And 50 started singing.
50 started singing.
Yeah, and then now everybody's singing everything.
Yeah. No doubt.
So being at Dejalon, like, okay, so what were some of the steps? You went from, kind of doing some dirty work. You got some studio time. How did it lead you into actually making a career out of it?
Well, I was one of them people, man. I wanted to get on because I wanted to make quick money. I wanted to build a big house and all of that stuff. I never actually fully made a career out of it because I became a father. When my daughter was born, man, I had been around so many dudes who were deadbeat fathers in the industry, and just watching these dudes, man, I'll never forget this, man. I went to Dejalon on Mother's Day. It was Mother's Day afternoon to go pick up. I had left one of my rack mount keyboards there, and I walked in, man. When I buzzed in and I looked in the lounge, there was 3 guys in there from this group, local group, and they were all in the lounge and they were all asleep on the couch. And I'm thinking, I got to get my gear because I know a lot of people here, and I don't want my gear just sitting here because I need to get home and go see, spend some time with my mother for Mother's Day. Yeah. These dudes are in the studio on Mother's Day, sleeping on the couch. And one of these dudes the funniest part about it is he got in an argument with another brother, and the dude said something about his mother, and he was about to kill this dude. But here he is on Mother's Day, sleeping on the couch in Dejalon, waiting for Jodeci to come back into the studio so he could be following them around. You know what I'm saying?
I ain't gonna lie too. With that studio life, I was one of them. Yeah. You know what I mean? I had a kid at 15, and I was in the studio, bro. I lived in the studio. You know what I mean? Like, we go in daytime, we come out daytime.
Yeah. Bro,
we spend 18, 20 hours in the studio. All week, every day, we lived in the studio. So I could really, I was one of those deadbeat dads.
Nah, but listen, though, I was 25 when my daughter was born, man. You know what I'm saying? So I had already seen a lot going down at Dejalon. I had probably about maybe 4 or 5 years of spending time down there, so I saw a lot already. So this was like, to me, it was like the tip of the iceberg for me. When it was like an everyday thing. I would see these dudes just hanging around, man, looking for table scraps.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Because they're trying to get on.
Yeah,
they trying to get on.
No doubt. But I always thought, I wanted to be a super producer. You know what I'm saying? It was like you couldn't tell me I wasn't going to be a super producer, man. But then I started to see the dark side of the industry, and then it had an effect on me, to the point where, and just to keep it real, I've shared this story with my wife, and I shared this story with my kids. It got to a point where I actually almost took somebody's life over it. And I can go into it, and I don't want to take up too much time, but what it boiled down to is, everybody's trying to get on, man. A lot of people saw this Jodeci MCA thing as their opportunity to get on. People backstabbing each other, man. Cats I went to church with, man, we've been friends all of our lives since we were infants, man. Backstabbing each other, record. So in my instance, what happened was, I was working with a young lady, and I'm not going to say anybody's name in this story because these people still live in Rochester, and I love these people. These are people that I grew up with, and I have mad love for them. Young lady I was working with, long story short, her family was trying to get her a deal at Dejalon. I was working down there. I was doing the album for her. We were going to present the album to Swing Mob, because Swing Mob, Devontae had this little crew called The Basement. He had Timbaland, Missy Elliott, Player's sister, Genuine, all of these people, man. None of these dudes, by the way, none of these people had contracts with him. Just so you know. Nobody had any signed contracts with him, but they're following him around all over the country and stuff, just, on per diem, just want to be down. So I'm working with her, and I told her, I said, I don't care what anybody else is doing. You need to get a contract. You need to get a signed contract. she had a cousin that was her handler. Like he would stay at the studio with her to make sure, them guys wasn't pushing up on her and stuff like that. He gets in her ear because he's trying to be down. He's trying to get a job with Devontae. He convinces her to record my conversation with her where I told her she needed to get a contract. She does it, and she goes and plays it for Devontae. So they call this meeting, and basically I'm told, get out the studio because I'm disloyal. Okay, so I'm disloyal, and because I'm telling her, you need to protect yourself. Mm-hmm. So, at first I was very upset about it because I felt like her cousin, ruined my career or what a career I was trying to start. So I started following this dude. I knew where he lived, and I knew his patterns. I knew where he was going. This is a true story, man. And after I left Dejalon, I went. Chuck Campbell. Chuck is like a father to me, man. Him and his brothers have a group called the Campbell Brothers, and I was recording at Chuck's house, and him and his brothers, man, Chuck laid out the red carpet for me, man. I didn't even know Chuck like that, and ironically, I met Chuck through this young lady's brother. Okay, and yeah, and so I was following this dude, man, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna kill this dude, man, because this I was that angry because I felt like I had put in so much work. I was following this dude, man, and I had made a determination that I was gonna take this dude's life over music, man. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I followed this dude home, and I parked across the street from this dude, man, and my phone rings. I had one of them big Motorola, the big bricks off. Yeah. And so only it
all you gotta do is throw the phone at him. He died.
No doubt. No doubt. It could have only been 1 or 3 people. It could have been my mother. It could have been my daughter's mother, or it could have been Chuck. I didn't because back then phone bills were high. Man.
Yeah. Not too many people had.
Yeah. And I answered the phone, and it was Chuck. He said, "Hey, man, what you doing?" And I said, "Man, listen, I can't talk right now, man. And he said, "Well, hold on, man. We need to talk about such as." I said, "I can't talk right now. I'm doing something." And he got quiet, and he said, "You all right, man?" I said, "Yeah, man, I'm fine. I'll talk to you. We'll talk about it later, though." And he said, "Nah, man. I tell you what, man. Come by the house now, because we really need to talk about this." And he kept, man, he was on me. Yeah. And then so I looked over, and the dude, he had got out of his car, and he was taking groceries into the house, and it was my opportunity. Yeah. To lick some shots at him, you know what I'm saying? So I'm trying to get Chuck off the phone, and I get him off the phone, man, and this dude's mother came out of the house and was helping him take stuff out of the car. And I'm sitting there, man, and I'm like, I hear Chuck's voice, hey, man, come to the house. And I'm like, I need to take care of this. I ain't no gangster, man, but I was mad. I was upset. I felt disrespected, and I felt like he had taken an opportunity away from me that I had waited a long time for. And when I saw that dude's mother, man, the only thing I thought was, I couldn't shoot this dude in front of his mother, man. So you know what I did, man? I put the gun in my glove compartment. I started my car, and I went to Chuck's house. When I got to Chuck's house, he didn't say a word to me, man. He looked right at me, and he could tell something wasn't right. I went in the basement, man. He said, "Hey, man, I got these tracks. I need to move from Tascam, over to blah blah blah, and I need to get it done." He didn't really need me. He just knew that's who Chuck was, man. Yeah, and that's a story that I'll never forget, man, because I could have. My wife likes to say this all the time. You only get one life, and it takes a second for you to throw your life away. You know what I'm saying?
That's right. That's right.
1 second, man. I could have been rotting in prison right now.
That's right.
I could have been rotting in prison right now for taking that man's life for nothing, man.
Man, the industry is serious.
And you know what's crazy, man? I could sit here and blame it on the industry, but it was my desire and greed for fame.
The industry, just drawing you in, like it's a whole beast behind it.
That's crazy.
there's a spirit behind it.
There is though.
It's a spirit behind it, man, and you have to be careful.
No doubt.
Because and like I was saying earlier, it can happen to anybody, whether you're secular or whether you're trying to do Christian music, gospel, whatever. You know what I mean? It can happen to anybody, man. That love for affirmation, money, fame, notoriety, whatever it is, man. There's a pull in there. You know what I mean? And I saw it from just the little producing that I was doing with my cousins and them when they were doing, they were gospel rappers, and bro, and we're talking about just local, man. We ain't talking about big time stuff. We're talking about just local, right? So we had got this one gig out in Macedon. It was a big church in Macedon, and I forget how we got set up, but somebody that we knew knew that there was a gig. I mean, there was a big like hip hop concert going down with mad people, just a bunch of artists getting together, and they were doing this. I guess they did it every year at this church, and so we was like, okay, we'll go. You know what I mean? We didn't really know what we was getting into, but we get there, man. The church was huge. It was huge, and we like, yo, this is crazy. You know what I mean? Because like, you know, we used to just doing little stuff around Rochester. You know what I mean? But we like, yo, this is crazy. And then we get inside, yo, the place was packed. And it was a bunch of the white kids, but
it's an ego trip, right?
Yeah, but it was packed, yo. We like, yo, and so you kind of like, I ain't gonna lie, you know, it was you're a little nervous at first. You know what I'm saying? You're like, man, are they gonna do good? You know, because you can't mess up. You know what I mean? Like, yo, this place is packed, bro.
No doubt.
And you had some well-known gospel rappers that were there. So my boys, they went on and they did their thing, man. They did their thing, and I remember just right after they got done doing what they did, bro, it was like we got bum rushed by a bunch of teenagers come bum rushing our table, wanting autographs, bought up all the CDs, all the T-shirts we had, bro, and I'm signing autographs and stuff like this here, yo.
No doubt.
And let me tell you, in the moment you feel like, wow,
right?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Just that, man.
Yeah, man.
I'm talking about. That's nothing, man, compared to.
And that's
nothing.
But it ignites that fire in
bro,
you.
It was something there, like, yo, wow.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I got kids and teenagers coming up. You know what I'm saying? They want my autograph, and I ain't even sing. I wasn't even rapping.
Imagine if you came off the stage. Listen, they got a story that if Jammer was here, he'll tell you about when we was in Canada and we was out there with the stretch limo. And we had the posters, cars following us with posters. We was hopping out that limo, bro. I was signing autographs, giving away records and everything. And everybody drills how I was, because I was hopping out like ready for pictures, like you know what I mean, posing. You know what I mean? But again, feeding that pride.
Yeah.
I even remember, even Saved, bro. Even Saved. I went with because I always, you know. Again, I always wanted, since I was around that, and I know that pride is real sneaky. Yeah. It can sneak up on you. So I always reached out to the local rappers, and I'm like, yo, I don't want nothing, bro. I don't want nothing from you. I just want to be your brother. You know what I mean? I just want to just make sure you good. I just want to make sure you don't get caught up in all this. So, you know, me and Buck got real, you know, close. Buck Barnabas calls me. He's like, yo, I'm going to do a show in the city. Come with me, man. I need somebody to come with me. Boom, boom. I'm like, yeah, no doubt. I'll go with you. You know what I'm saying? This is probably like 3 years ago or something like that.
Yeah, I remember you called me.
Remember I told you, yeah. So I go out to the city with him, and he does the show. Eshawn was there. Eshawn was part of the headliner. What's my man that does the Christian?
The Saga?
Saga was there. So and Saga had a dope show. They all had dope shows. So they all did their thing, and I'm looking at all of them. I'm gonna show you how this prize still, bro. I've been dropped the mic long time ago. Since what? My last time was 2003. You know what I mean? 2002. You know what I'm saying? So I'm, you know, but I can't help that. I'm in the back and I got Buck's merchandise and I'm selling it in the back of the room, right? And pride still kicking in me like, bro, what are you doing back here?
Right.
Like, Because I'm used to being in the limelight. I'm used to being the one on the stage and everybody helping me and everybody's, and look how God do me. God showed me like, nah, bro. And I just humble myself and just, I'm selling his merchandise, asking people if they want to buy it for him, just playing, being just totally in the background, and to show you how powerful that price lingers with you. And I thank God. I told you, Lou, I thank God. I said, yo, man, and I thank Buck. I said, yo, bro, I'm glad I did this. He said, why? I said, there's the pride in me that I didn't even know that was in there.
No doubt.
That I didn't even know was lingering. And I'm looking at y'all like, dang, that's supposed to be me. And I need to kill that. You know what I mean? And I said, yo, I thank you, bro. I want to be, bro, I'll bring you water. If you need water, bro, I don't want that. I just want to give it up. I want to give it away.
Yo, so I mean, that it's interesting because in our last episode, Kurt talked about preachers. If you're gonna be a preacher, you need to be called to be the preacher. And I just recently brought up off air here, musicians that represent the Lord, I believe, have to have a calling as well. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, I do believe that there is musicians are different if you look at them. Like, it's funny, a lot of musicians that I know are compulsive. Like, they're very compulsive on certain things. And that is a good trait because it makes them compulsive with some of their music. A lot of rappers that I know, they had that behavior, that compulsive behavior that like they couldn't pay attention to nothing. But when it came to music, they could zoom in and tap into a part of their brain that they could just create. But take them outside the studio, they're all over the place. You know what I mean? They got attention disorders, all that. They're all over the place. But they got to tap in when it comes into music. I told that to Kurt. I said, there's some of us that's not like that we can still tap in, but a lot of rappers that I've dealt with, that's the way they are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's a special thing about a musician. A musician, I think God make them a special way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So now, as far as what we feeding ourselves, the spirit behind a lot of stuff, man, I know I can speak for myself, man. It was demonic, man.
Oh yeah,
it was demonic. I heard demonic. People think I'm crazy, man. You know what I mean? I told everybody right when we got with Joe and we was doing all that stuff and got the Ron G mixtape and we was doing big things, Lou. Yep. We was going back and forth to New York City, and the thing is with us, we wasn't looking for a deal. See, the thing is, we wanted notoriety. We wanted your certification. That's why we wanted, because we already had printed our stuff up. We already made our records. We already did our tapes and CDs. We just wanted it. We was selling it. We had a record deal with Unique Records, a distributing deal. Mm-hmm. So all we needed was a face. So Joe so that we could sell this material, we re-up. We'll keep selling it. It's 100% markup. You know what I mean? Right. We making all the money. Right. You know what I'm saying? We didn't spend all the money. Right. So we gonna make all the money back. So we was just looking for co-signers. Right. You know what I mean? Chilling with this rapper, chilling with this rapper on this mixtape. Now people know who we are. They're gonna buy our stuff. We make all the money for ourselves. Right. You know what I'm saying? So we was at that. We was trying to do that, and I at that moment, man, I remember writing music, man, and something telling me, like a voice telling me, you right there, just give me your soul. Now y'all could think I'm crazy, like I know, I'm talking about listeners, I know my brothers here don't think I'm crazy, but listeners, y'all could say what y'all want, speak to other rappers, I don't know, they keep it. I know writing music, a voice would say, it wanted me literally to say you can have my soul. It wasn't about, it already had me. It's crazy because I'm already rapping about violence. I'm doing all this stuff with the groupies. I'm wilding out. But it wanted me to say it. It wanted me to publicly say it. And I never said it. I couldn't do it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. But I don't know what that was. A voice kept telling me to say it. Wow. Just say it.
Wow. Well, I think part of this is, like you said, you alluded to already about musicians being called, right? Because, I mean, when you think about it, and we talk about in the confinement of obviously the church, right? And so being called to do the work of a musician and realizing that when we talk about worship, right? When he talking about God's music, worship, you know, he said that they that worship me must worship me in spirit and in truth. And you can't do that without understanding that there's a covenant that takes place between the worshiper and the one who receives the worship.
Right.
The one who's there's a covenant there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And Satan understands that too. He understands that it's a covenant. It's a bond that you build between the one who's being worshipped and the worshiper. You know what I'm saying? And it is God who obviously he gives us the inspiration to create these songs of worship. You know, we hear scriptures about I will give you a new song and things like that. You know, he will inspire us. Satan does the same thing, man. Lucifer does the same thing. He just mimics God. He wants to be like God, so he wants the same thing. He wants that covenant, that bond, because he understands that's a stronghold now. It becomes a stronghold. If you're just doing it, messing around, okay, you know, you can be in and out of it. But once you establish that covenant, that bond, it becomes a stronghold.
And you walk in a different spirit.
Oh, yeah.
Yo, I used to go in the room, I felt my power.
Yeah.
For real,
crazy.
I used to feel my power, bro. Yeah. I used to go in the room, I changed the atmosphere, bro. Like, for real, like, man, I remember, man, I had authority, bro. In that realm, I control a crowd, bro. I say a joke, have everybody laughing. I can say a joke, or I can have everybody ready turned up. it was in my hands. I could feel the power, and I could feel the draw, the women drawn to me, the men drawn to me. I could. Bro, you could just feel it.
You just read it. Like,
you feel it, man. You
that
feel
power,
it. You feel
man.
that energy, man. You feel it. That they just, they just.
Ain't that something though? Like, and that just kind of just makes you. It makes you puffed up even
makes
more,
you puffed
right?
up.
Like,
But
just really, in the grand scheme of who God is, right? How puny that is.
Puny.
Exactly.
It's not even a speck to God.
It's nothing to God.
And yet that's the delusion Satan sells so many people.
You know what, God? I was listening to this message from Piper, and he said, and he was talking about the joy, and he said, you know what's the problem with us? We're too easily pleased.
I was just saying that with the music.
That's big.
You know what I'm saying? We don't, as an audience, the audience isn't expecting more or demanding more from the people that they're getting their product from.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Back when I first got into music, man, I really, really latched on. Dr. Dre was like everything to me as a producer, just because he was so meticulous in everything. I used to study his music, man, everything about his music. And then I just started to notice how, as he got more popular, man, how dark his music. It had like this sinister. If you listen to Dre's beats, man, he bought lead lines and he bought those dark bass lines, and that's his thing. I can hear any of his music, man. I'll be like, if a music comes on, and I'll be like, that's a Dre beat. I know it. Yeah. And the crazy part about it is, I was watching an interview one time with Dr. Dre. He was really young, and MTV. He was being interviewed by MTV, and these exact words came out of his mouth. He said, "I'll sell my soul to the devil to go platinum."
Wow.
And I look at Dr. Dre today. Now I don't want to speak any negativity into that man's life, but if you look at all the moves that Dr. Dre has made, they talk about the Jay-Z's, and they talk about Jay-Z is a billionaire and all that stuff. But you look at the power, you know what I'm saying, from the aspect of who Dre is aligned with Jimmy Iovine, one of the major players in the music business, and in the community too. But you look at Dre with where he's come from and like all the things that he's been able to accomplish, and I have no doubt in my mind that Satan had his hand all in that because he said those words.
I believe so.
And he, you know what I'm saying?
And it's not like so I think some people, not to get it confused, I don't think these people are cognitively worshiping Satan, right?
Exactly.
There's some people out there that are straight witchcraft, and we know that. We're talking about people who just crave power.
Exactly.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Exactly.
And because they crave power, notoriety, money, fame, status, they do whatever to get that. Not obviously being darkened in their mind that The one who offers that is the God of this world.
Exactly.
Which is
exactly.
That's right. Lou.
Exactly.
And Jesus Christ in Matthew 4 and Luke 4 was tempted, and one of those temptations was the power of the world.
Yeah.
That's right.
Power that comes with the world, the fame, the notoriety, the status, and yet he didn't take it.
Listen, go ahead, Luke. Go ahead.
Now, I was going to say, I think that, some of them do.
Oh, I agree with that.
Actively, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree with
because
that.
I think
some
that
do.
The perception of Satan from a Christian perspective is different from the world. You know, the world looks at Satan as, the light bearer. He's the light bringer. He illuminates, and you know what I'm saying. Basically, it's kind of freeing the soul of man.
Freeing man, to do what he wills,
especially
to do what the man wills.
So now I'm shaking off all these shackles. I can basically experience me. You know what I'm saying? And just do me more and find different aspects and dig deeper into me. So it seems like it comes across very angelic, if you will. Mm-hmm. It comes across enlightening. It's like it's feel good. It doesn't present itself as demonic. Yeah. As a Christian would look at it and say, man, that's demonic. Right. But the world looks at it and they see it as light. Because it's not coming across with pitchforks and you know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's not the way he coming at you.
Right.
But what's interesting, you say that, and what you say, Dave Jones, just as a fan, right, who listen to all kind of music, and after becoming a believer, I would go back and listen to some of the secular stuff I used to listen to, and I could tell from the
man, you feel
not the lyrics, just outside the music, just the production of the music. It was something, like you said, sinister about it. Something sinister about. But not only that, so like, for example, you got an artist would drop a single, right? Dope single, got you going, got you moving.
No doubt.
But then listen to the album.
No doubt.
Man, some vile stuff coming from these albums, man.
Well, let me speak from the artist perspective.
Go ahead.
Because there's some music that I've done that's not Christian that they're close to my heart. I got one track called Love Me the Way, and I'm speaking about my father. Yeah. And how the drugs had him, right? And it was me spilling out my heart in that track, okay? And talking about how he, the hook was called somebody singing, saying, love me the way I love you, no matter what. That's what the hook was about. He's saying, no matter what I do, love me the way I love you. Yeah. And I'm rapping about how he was caught up, you know what I mean? But my dad was still telling, hey, even though I'm caught up, bro, love me. You know what I mean? The tracks still hold dear to my heart.
But there's good music. There's still some good music.
That's what I'm saying. So, but it's on the album that some demonic stuff is on the album.
I hear you.
Too.
That's
what I'm saying. I'm piggybacking off your point.
So like you get some singles, or even like you get some conscious rap, some Common, some Talib Kweli, Mos Def. Some of the things like, yo, man, boom, you listen to it, but then you listen to the full length of what they're dropping, and it's like,
something's not right.
At being hindsight 2020, right? Yeah. In the moment, it's like, yo, this is hot, this is flames, I'm loving this. But you go back and like I've gone back and listened to my favorite rapper to this day is Nas. Like he was the one that turned me out to hip hop. Nevertheless, I go back and I listen to it and I find some very interesting things in his music and his lyrics. A lot of references to Christianity.
Yeah, there's a lot of blasphemous stuff.
That's my point. It's blasphemous. But they're speaking out of mouth, not understanding.
Not understanding. You're right.
It's dope bars.
Yeah.
But they don't understand how they're offensive to God.
Right.
Yeah, you're right.
So it's crazy.
Listen, I have a question for you guys. So I have this embodiment of music that I've done. Okay, now if I wanted to, I want your opinion.
I already know where you're going.
It's stuff I'm not getting paid for. Okay, it's in the cut. Now listen, it was already pressed up. This records, and some of it was already sold. I got no power of that. Okay, like I told y'all, we had a distribution deal, so it got some of it sold all over the place. I don't know where. You could probably find people in Canada in different places with it, right? If I was to take that music and put it on a platform that where if you could download it, stream, because people, let me tell you, people put it on YouTube. Some of my tracks. Yeah. I had nothing to do with that. I have nothing to do with that. Power, it's out of my power. Again, the music is already out there. Right. I don't know who put it on YouTube. I don't even know who did that. But what I'm saying is, so I'm not getting no money for that, bro. Hold up, bro. I'm not getting no money
Do I
for
hear
that,
pride
bro.
talking?
Hold up,
Do I hear pride talking?
And not pride. I don't care about the. Listen, I don't care if you acknowledge me.
What is it, man? What is it?
He wants the money.
I'm saying it's work that I done that we spent on our pocket. Would it be wrong for me to put it in a platform that I start receiving some money from for this?
All proceeds going to the church?
And listen, there's a lot of proceeds already going to the church.
Let me ask you a question.
And what I'm saying, this is what. And before you ask the question, Dave, all I'm saying is it's already out there. I'm not getting paid for it, and I could care less. But should I be getting paid for it? It's work I did before. This wasn't correct. You know what I mean? It's not nothing new.
Let me ask you this, man. What's it worth to you?
What you mean?
So, is the value of what you will get in return? So you go to them and say, "Hey, I think I should be getting paid for this." Can your conscience deal with it based on what the material is about?
Yeah, I mean, right now, I wouldn't. I'm not about the material that what it's about.
Then you answer your own question, man.
Yeah,
it's like
so take it as a loss.
Listen, man, it's not even a loss; it's a gain. No, man.
Not only that, that man is dead.
Exactly.
It don't even represent you any longer. I mean, you could use it for testimony's sake, but
of course, yeah.
To flourish or to move forward.
Okay, so what about the people like Kanye West? He's got a whole large of archives of stuff that he did before he was Christian, and God willing, he keeps doing the walk that he's doing, right? And say, I know he's been having little things, but I'm still believing that God could keep him. Now, what he just disregards all the music he did too.
Well, I think the business end of that is already set up for him to receive.
But what's the difference between me and him?
Just
because my business, I got listen. I got publishing. Just like no, I'm being real.
Okay,
I got publishing.
Here's the difference.
Rights to it.
I'm gonna tell you what the difference is. The difference is Kanye West has a lot of people around him that are afraid to tell him when he shouldn't do something. But you got 3 brothers at this table right now that are telling you that the move that you're thinking about making is not a good move.
Yes.
And nobody has. I'll just say it. Nobody has the balls to tell Kanye West in his inner circle, bro, that's wrong. You're making a wrong move. Okay, so yeah, you're making a Christian album, but then you got a concession stand set up where you're selling $250 T-shirts and $80 flip-flops. Yeah. It's a money grab.
Yeah.
So while I appreciate that brother and what he's trying to do, man, there's ulterior motives. All you have to do is look at the concession stand. You understand what I'm saying? To really speak to you about what the motive is. So you have to ask yourself, what's the motive? Is it Don Dada wants to see Don Dada shine again, or do you miss the music?
Motive is just to put that. I put in work in that, bro. I want to get my money back. Just like let's say Matt. Okay, let's say my man that turned from the Clips, No Malice.
No Malice.
That's what he called himself now. He's probably still receiving royalty from music he did when he was with the Clips.
Yeah,
if he kept his publishing.
If he kept his publishing.
Right.
Is he wrong for that?
Why would
I don't even know the group, so I don't know.
Well, I'm asking Lou. Lou know the group.
Well, I don't know what he's doing with his money.
Meaning, is he wrong to receive? Because whenever they play music that he does, to this day, he still get royalties.
That's my point.
Is
he doing something specific with his money, with that money from the royalties?
No, meaning he's just living off the money.
That's an assumption, though. We don't know if he.
No, I'm saying, what if he is living off the money? What if he's just living?
Here's even bigger than that. Go ahead, Kurt.
I'm just real quick, and then I'll let you. I can just say for me, and I think you already know where I stand, bro. So I don't even know why you even brought this up. So we done already dealt with this.
I wanted to do it for the listeners. Listen, I'm doing this for the listeners, man. For controversy's sake. Go ahead.
I hear you. But
because y'all know what I'm gonna do. I'm just doing this for the listeners.
As a believer, man, just for me, and this is my conviction. I couldn't have nothing to do with that money, bro. I would have to give it away.
So even if you was, if you was
I would give it
secular, away. You was secular rapper, then you turn Christian out of nowhere.
I couldn't, bro.
You'll just be like, no.
Yeah, I would have to give it away, bro.
Here's the thing for me. I think we kind of demonize money sometimes.
Yeah.
The money doesn't know where it's coming from.
Exactly.
So the money is kind of innocent in this whole thing. It's your desire for it that is, I feel like, is misplaced. With this what you're talking about, this other gentleman that was in a group and he's still getting publishing and stuff. The thing with that is that vehicle, that train is already moving. So no matter what he did, if he was in a secular group, right, and he stepped out and he was like, you know what, I'm not doing this anymore. That publishing was set up from the day that they released that music. So that vehicle is already moving. But what you're doing,
I got to set it up.
You got to go out to the garage. You got to build it.
I got to put it on the Spotify. I got to do all that.
There you go. You already know, man. You already know.
No, I just did that for conversation.
No, I got you. I got you. You know, it's one of the things for me too, man, with music is like, you know, it's there's no it's not a coincidence that Satan was in charge of music, you know, and it's like he will use, that's what he's gonna use. He will use that to try, you know. I look at I grew up listening to all kinds of music, man, and so when I listen to music, I can hear and I can feel certain spirits and moods. You know what I'm saying? I had a producer and a songwriter one time at a music conference in Philly tell me, he was like, mate, you're not going to start making dope music until you get your heart broken. You know what I'm saying? Until you feel some kind of pain, you know? And so when I hear music, I listen to music differently. My wife is always like, how do you hear that sound? Like when I hear beats, I just hear the beat. But how are you hearing that stuff? It's because it's something deep rooted in that music that I hear. So I grew up listening to all kinds of music. So like country music was big in my house because my dad listened to country music when he was in the Marines. You know, we were stationed on the base and stuff. I remember as a little guy hearing country all the time. Charlie Daniels. I don't know if y'all ever heard of Charlie Daniels band before. Charlie Daniels played the violin. He's got a song. Charlie Daniels just passed away 2 months ago. Rest in peace. He had one of the dopest songs I ever heard. It's called "Devil Went Down to Georgia." I know y'all have heard that song before.
No, exactly what you're talking about.
If you listen to that song, man, kid you not, if you listen to that song, he's having a violin duel. The kid in the song is having a violin duel with the devil.
Yeah, I remember that track.
When the devil's music comes on and the devil strikes up his bow to play, you hear everything.
Yeah.
Rock guitar, you know, it's like the energy in it is just like, and it's mad demonic when you hear it. When the kid strikes up his bow to play, it's happy, feel good, swinging music.
I remember
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When you listen to that song, man, that tells you, really, that song tells you all you need to know about how, if Satan is in it, you're gonna hear it. You're gonna feel it, man. You are. That song, man, a country song, man, by a country western singer, man, violin player. That song is ridiculous. For the viewers, if you've never heard it, man, Devil Went Down to Georgia.
I remember that track.
Charlie Daniels, man.
I remember that track.
Dope track.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But there's a lot of meaning in that track if you listen to it, man. It really is.
Yeah, I mean, there's some creative people out there.
No doubt.
And you know, like I said, to what influence that it is demonic, I'm not sure, because like you said, during this time, you just felt like, yo, this right here, and it's just flowing right from your mind.
Always,
from a secular standpoint, but the same is true probably for believers as well.
Oh, absolutely.
No doubt.
Where they just, you know, whether they, like, for example, if you ever watch the documentary from Hillsong United, I forgot the title of it. Apologies, viewers. Nevertheless, they got a documentary on how they make their music, and you find these brothers and this sister in the middle of the night praying out to God, crying out to God, Lord, give us a song. And they're there. I mean, it's not like, all right, we just think this. They're putting in work.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Putting in work, and not only work on their knees, bro.
Yeah.
And that's where the anointing just flows, and you see the blessings of some of the music that they have produced. Beautiful music that has influenced the entire world, in the sense that it's brought glory to God, right? And that is the key right there. That all music should always point to Christ to some degree, where He receives the glory. Whether it is God using the artist, and everybody knows that person is a believer, or in the lyrics or in the songs, how it points back to Christ. So You find both ends of it.
No
man.
doubt.
You find, and I tell you what, some of the most anointed people are the people who never record a track but sing every Sunday.
Yep.
No doubt.
Oh yeah.
No
Yo,
doubt.
man, I seen some Spanish people who can sing, man. They ain't never recorded a track in their life, and
They just do
there's
it.
just something about when they sing, it works your soul over.
Yeah.
It's anointed. It's anointed.
Yeah,
man.
man. So,
And you know this there. Look at the Beatles. If you listen to the early Beatles, it was more wholesome type. Then you listen to the Beatles when they start doing drugs. The music went somewhere else.
they got turned out.
Yeah, it
No
went
doubt.
somewhere else. His spirit's behind it. You
No
know what I
doubt.
mean? But listen, how about these Christian brothers, rappers right here, that feel like you marginalizing them, you're boxing them in by saying that that they can't come out and just rap about just regular music. If they rap about the streets, they want to rap about the streets. They want to rap about this. They want to rap about that. The fans, like you said, give them kickback because they like, oh, you're supposed to be Christian. You know, Lecrae is one of them that a lot of
Lecrae
people get.
called
Like, you know, they
Andy
get
Mineo.
Andy Mineo is another one that they get.
It's a few dudes, yeah.
Few dudes that's starting to get that lashback, saying like, hey, you're not sticking to what you used to be, and you're getting more side of the box. Listen, from the artist perspective, I understand where they're coming from.
Yeah, actually, I agree with you. Like as a fan, I hear where they're coming from. Like the notion of, yo, I'm a hip hop artist, man. But I'm a Christian as well.
Yeah.
And they don't, the label. I'm not a Christian hip hop artist. I'm a rapper who's a Christian.
Exactly.
Right. So I hear that argument. I think what fans struggle with is that there has been a change in the language of their music.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all about timing, bro. Like if you had started out as just like, you're a feel good rapper, you ain't got no craziness in your music. You just, that's just what you was doing. And then you dropped a gospel straight up Christian album, you know what I mean? And you started doing both. I don't think people would have a problem with that because it's, you started off already, that's what you was doing. We know you for that.
Right.
But when you came out strong, this is what because a lot of these Christian rappers, they come out hardcore Christian rap.
Yeah, theologically sound doctrine.
They ain't coming out with no, with that party dance Christian rap. They coming out hardcore. And then to see you go from that to then now you just want to do so-called feel-good music.
But listen, one thing I could say about an artist, and to talk about what you're talking about, Kurt, and that's great that you brought up. An artist is an artist. He speaks what he lives. He speaks what's on his mind at the moment and what he's going through.
So then Christ ain't on your mind no more?
No, what I'm saying is this. So in the beginning, there was no voice for Christ when hip-hop first started. There was no genre. There was no Christian hip-hop. So it was just hip hop, but we like, oh, I like hip hop, and I wish there was Christians rapping hip hop.
Right.
So now your life is all that. That's what you're involved in, and now you're going hard, right? Like you're spitting Christian bars because you're like, yo, we demand a voice and we demand some shine time as Christians, and we want to spit hip hop. Now, okay, boom, it's established. Now I'm in a different phase of my life. Now I'm like, okay, it's just like Jay-Z on the streets. When he first rapped, right, it was all about hustling because that's all I did was hustle. I could just tell you about what I'm living. Then you got the other Jay-Z, oh, I got money now.
Right.
And then now you got Jay-Z like, yo, I'm trying to buy paintings and I'm trying to leave generational, you know what I mean? I'm trying to make a difference now, right? So because you rap what you live, you know what I'm saying? And so they went through that era that, okay, they wanted a voice. Now Christian hip hop is established a little bit. So now they're like, okay, I'm rapping about how I live as a Christian artist and with a little bit of fame.
In other words, their life has changed.
It's changed.
So they're dealing with what. Exactly.
Yeah, so like Lecrae, he ain't rapping about because now the lane has already been made. So now I'm rapping more from the business side and how I gotta live with, being a record, owner of a record label and still, be Christian now. Now my rhymes are coming towards that. You know what I mean?
But I would say this though.
I'm talking from the Christian, the artist's point of view.
I would say though, like with just speaking on Lecrae, and I still listen to Lecrae, but you could, in listening to some of the music, you go from theologically sound and doctrine, right? to now you talk about some social justice issues. You talk about, there's some hot bars, and then at the same time you talk about on some levels you don't feel like the need to be accountable to the fans per se, because I've heard that in his lyrics as well. The issue I have though, I would say this. I think part of it too, their initial audience was white evangelicals.
Okay.
Right, Kurt, you talked about it, man. We went to Macedon, and there was a bunch of white little kids, right?
Yeah, it was.
Right,
It was.
so, and they flocked to it. But this is the thing about Christian hip hop, and this is where I feel where they're coming from to some degree. Who they were missing, where they were from, the hood.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? They wasn't connecting with those people.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And I think this is why they kind of made a switch to try to come back and try to get their own, in a sense. But at what compromise? Because Lecrae just dropped the album, a track with John Legend, and I'm sonically dope track, sounds dope. John Legend singing, but my Christian convictions, I would never rock like that. Me personally, what fellowship does light have with dark? On a working level, outside of, see, this is the danger from an artist standpoint. The danger is all right, well, hold up. You're a plumber. You got to go work in somebody's house that's not a Christian. How do you deal with that? The difference is this is my livelihood, and I don't have a choice in this. I could make a decision, but this is what I got to do to eat. Right. Where he has made himself so successful, he can make a decision on
not to do that.
Not do that.
Right.
But, he's purposely make that choice.
What about,
and it brings confusion to, I would say, simple sheep.
Right.
He may be secure in his walk with the Lord. And I'm okay with it. Yeah, you secure. But bro, you do have brothers and sisters in the faith that are young, that don't understand this, that come from a hip hop background, that are now freshly in Christ, and they listen to it like, yo, what's this about?
But how do you reach? But then how you cross over and reach his people without? That's two-folded too.
What do you mean how you cross over?
That's two-folded. Now,
whose people you trying to reach?
Meaning he can reach John Legend's fan base now.
Nah.
Because now he does it. Now they can be like, who is this dude Lecrae? Let me look into it.
I don't believe that. I don't believe that happens, bro. I don't believe that happens.
Why not?
Because, bro, listen.
Because we're supposed to be different.
We're supposed to be different. And not only that, bro, but the problem I think that we don't talk about is you got to go back to motive.
Right.
When you look at, okay, now you want to start doing this stuff, why? You know what I'm saying? Why can't you started off this way? Why can't you end this way? Why can't this be who you are? Why? Why you got to go this way? You know what I'm saying? What's the motive? And then we want to say, well, it's to get more people. But are you though? Kurt Franklin tried that. We see that don't work.
Right.
You just get a bunch of worldly so-called Christians. Come on, man. It's either.
But does he change anything in his frame of work? Like, okay, so the song that you're talking about, Lou, what is it about?
I only listened to it once, so I didn't get into the lyrics like that.
Because what if he's bringing Kurt into his realm?
But he's not, because most people going to end up.
I mean, he's bringing.
This what
John
usually
Legend
happens.
into his.
What usually happens is people find out, oh, that's John Legend. Guess what they're gonna do? They're gonna go listen to John Legend.
So you think it's reverse?
And I'll be honest with you, when I listened to it, I was listening to John Legend.
Bro.
I wanted to see what John Legend had to bring to it.
But there can be a few that would say, "Who is this guy, Lecrae? I like his lyrics.
You might
let me listen to his hip hop. Yeah, let me listen to.
God is sovereign and able to do that.
And he's being, as long as Lecrae is being who he is.
That's what you got to. So
it's just like going to a secular party, right? You still being who you be. Right, but you're there to show the love and talk to the people. Come down where they at. You know what I mean? Because they ain't coming inside the church.
No, and that's a fact. They're not coming.
Yeah, they're not coming in the church because we acting too like like a social club.
Well, I think that's some of the shift or some of the reasoning behind their shift of communicating their music. Where they're trying to appeal to a different demographic. Now, is it because of money, the revenue stream?
See,
I don't know.
We don't know. We can't.
I don't know that
speculating.
For sure.
You're speculating if you say that.
We are speculating, but we're speculating for good reason.
Yeah,
because listen, man, somebody has. Listen, we are ambassadors for Christ, and we are supposed to hold our brothers accountable. So if I'm smelling something that bro, that don't smell right. What's up? Now, if it checks out and you know what I'm saying, fine. Now I got to back up and I got to say, all right, man. You know, me personally, my personal conviction is I wouldn't do that. But hey, if God gave you the grace to do it, then I got to fall back.
Because we don't know.
We can't. We have to hold the line somewhere, bro. We got to step up and be willing to say, hey, bro, what's up with that?
I hear you, but what I'm saying is, we can't say the brother's been out of line because we have no proof of him.
At this point, there has been no
proof.
Right.
He gives away money. He's he's still with the faith. He still preaches Christ in his songs. He still mentions Christ in his songs. You won't see him doing anything wild. You know what I mean? He has done cameos with people, right? But he's always come with his message. You know what I mean? His message, and he's never compromised his message of Christ.
But I want to say this, man. I think because if he's good right now, praise God, amen. But Satan is very crafty, man. Yeah. This dude is very crafty. The Bible talks about this dude like he's very cunning. You know, cunning was not a bad connotation. That was actually a word of endearment, right? So when we talk about how shifty this dude is, I tell my youth all the time, when it comes to temptation, especially when it comes to, when we talk about sex, man, Satan ain't caring if you was at your girl's house and y'all didn't have sex the first night.
Right.
He don't care about that.
You don't try again.
He like, yo, you can go over there 100 times.
Yeah.
He waiting for the 101st time,
right,
where you just right there when you was weak enough, everything came perfect, and boom. Now, guess what? All them 100 days that you didn't do nothing, gone.
But it's
gone.
Also God is all powerful.
Absolutely.
So it also could be God shining a light on darkness.
I don't know, man. I think.
God, because again, because look what we're talking about.
I'm gonna put it like this.
He has not compromised. He has not compromised his message. Now I can see we'll have something to say if he compromises in his message, and I
would say I don't know if he compromised, but his message has changed rap wise. It's not the same when he first came out.
And it's not like he just worked with John Legend. Didn't he work with what's the cat?
What's
the cat from Chicago?
That's what I'm saying.
The cat from Chicago's name.
I forgot the white rapper.
Church clothes joint.
But see the appeal. See, that's the other thing.
But look at that album. Church Clothes is a powerful Christian album.
But a lot of people and this is where Shylin came in and dropped a whole album on these type of dudes and some of the things they were doing. Why? Because Church Clothes goes hard on the church.
True.
And that's who the Bible says. Who is the accuser of the brethren day and night?
Yeah,
Satan.
That's a good point.
Right.
Great
Now,
point.
I'm not saying the church is absolved from correction and it needs, some things to be pulled out to light because we do it ourselves, right? But the reality is that there has been a trend with 116, and not all 116, but the Lecrae, the Minios, where they have said some things that just controversial, man. And the
true.
body
That's
of Christ is just like, yo, what's this about?
That's a fact I can't argue with. That's a fact I can't argue with.
And it's just, you got to think of the more you do it, man, you're opening yourself up, man. That's what I'm afraid of.
Right.
You may stand strong now, but man,
I'm gonna say I do want to say this, right, to try to bring balance to it. He's in a different avenue, right? Like from a Christian hip hop business standpoint.
Yes,
he is a pioneer. Yeah. And there's no other labels out there that's doing it like
facts.
Him. So the reality is, we don't know what it's like to be in those shoes.
And he's putting out Christian artists.
Exactly. Secondly is, I think we have to give him some leeway for mistakes too, right?
Exactly.
And that's one level. So they may make some horrendous decisions, and by God's grace, God may correct them at some point. And they may, he's still living. You know what I'm saying? He's still breathing. He may come around and say, "Yo,
he's
human.
These
mistakes." Right? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So on one level, I do want to offer that, but at the same time, I think sometimes it is confusing to younger believers, especially who are passionate about God, that want to serve the Lord hard. We're not talking about just some youth, right? We're not talking about, even though that's dangerous for them sometimes as well, because now they look at Lecrae, he rocking with John Legend,
right.
And now because they're not sound in doctrine, dangerous, well, I could do whatever, I could. If he could do it, I could do it, kind of thing. So long story here. I mean, trying to break this down because I want to close this shop up here. I think for the most part, we just got to gauge and be discerning. And at the same time, we can't be afraid to call out stuff too. If we say, I disagree with that, and these are the reasons why, blah, 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 just like Curtis just did. I think those are valid reasons for what we see, because these are brothers who launched themselves off the platform of brothers and sisters in the faith. Now they're doing something a little bit different, but like I said, maybe because it's a whole new avenue business-wise, and they're trying to figure it out. They're trying to navigate it. Yeah. But this is where we pray and hope that they have elders in their lives that are encouraging them, speaking into them, and holding them accountable.
And we can pray for them too.
Yeah,
absolutely. And we here for them. T.A.T.S Nation is here for them if they ever need some brothers in the faith that support them and love them.
All right, T.A.T.S Nation, we got 2 good episodes busting in and out. This music stuff is for real, and I'm not even in the business. You know what I'm saying? Never been in the business.
And we just tapped the surface, too.
For real.
Exactly. We didn't even go.
But T.A.T.S Nation, man, we love y'all, man. Keep listening. Subscribe. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Theology in the Streets. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter at T.A.T.S Podcast and T.A.T.S_podcast, and Instagram as well. We love y'all, T.A.T S Nation. Thanks for listening, but we out right now. See you.
Peace.
See ya.